my goodness, hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're here for the second, third, fourth time, welcome back. My name is Tracy if you don't know me. And yeah, let's get this video started. I pray in Jesus' name that the Lord will be able to help me verbalize the things that I am thinking, the things that I'm trying to say, and I hope you get something from this video. So I recently graduated from varsity, yay, and I think life is not what I thought it would be, and that's what I want to talk about today, is the expectation after graduating, life after varsity. Life after varsity is tricky, man. If you thought life after high school was tricky, baby, life after varsity, I think getting into the real world, like for real, and experiencing like life coming at you and experiencing disappointment and experiencing lack and like experiencing everything, like freaking adulting is a lot, and that's what I want to talk about today. So the first thing I want to tackle is like expectation and letting go of what you thought life was going to be and what you thought it should be. And a lot of because what people tell you, what the world tells you. First of all, when you're in high school, people are like, go to varsity, study this, study that, get a job, you know, life works out. And you think, yeah, I'm gonna get my degree, that's the key to life, that's gonna open all the doors. Baby, it's not opening any doors, and you keep knocking and knocking and knocking, and it's like crickets.
Open the door, open the door, open the door.
And I think that's the hardest thing. And on top of that is like living in a country like South Africa where the unemployment rate is horrendous, and it's almost like you can try your best, but if you don't have things like connections or you don't have God knows what to get in, it can be very difficult. And I think also trying to like find who you are outside of school, outside of going to school and doing assignments and writing exams, because I think it's easy, like year after year you like are trained to go to school, and all you have to do really is like do well in school and pass and move on to the next grade or move on to the next stage. And now it's like, okay, I've done that, what now? Because you're supposed to in a perfect world, you're supposed to graduate, then you're supposed to get a job. Then I remember like even having this discussion with my sisters, like, because if anyone has ever experienced graduation, it's one of the best days, moments of your entire existence. The emotions on graduation are so heightened. It's an incredible experience. You feel so high, and then it's over and you go back to normal life, and it's like, hey, you know. And I don't know, I think it's like, okay, like nothing else changed besides like now I'm unemployed, like now what? So I think it's like, okay, who am I outside of being a student? Who am I outside of this qualification? Who am I? What am I doing? And I think the thing I've struggled with the most with life after varsity is what unemployment comes with. And unemployment comes with no money. And I mean, luckily for me, I have sisters that I can, older sisters that I can like financially depend on, that I can be financially dependent on. But baby, I don't want to be financially dependent on anyone. Like, that's the goal. Like I can go to people and be like, please give me money, but I don't want to go to people. I want to go to myself. Like I I want to be that girl. Like, I like things, so I want to be able to provide with myself. And not being able to provide for myself, not being independent, I think is the thing that like has like hurt me the most, you know. And I know it's probably 10 times worse for people who don't have people that they can financially depend on. And I just want to say to you, girl, I'm right there with you. Like, and I think another thing with like not getting a job straight out of varsity is people think you're not trying. Like, I think people think you like just sitting down and just like not trying or not trying hard enough. And it's like, trust me, like, the person who wants me to be employed the most is me. Trust me when I say I've tried everything. I've applied everywhere. I don't think there's a law firm in this freaking country that doesn't have my CV. Like, trust me when I say I'm trying. And I think people genuinely think you don't want to work, or you just like being lazy, or you not doing your research. And it's like, and then I think probably point number three is the comparison. Seeing your peers excel, seeing your peers get the job, seeing your peers, you know. But I think for me, that's one thing I don't think I've struggled with, if I'm being very genuine, because I understand everyone has their own path, everyone has their own thing, everyone has their own dreams and their own timing. And I think first and foremost, trusting God's timing and not your timing. And I think comparison has always been like almost like a lazy thing to do, or like being jealous of somebody else's growth or somebody else's blessings, because like you have no idea, truly you have no idea the path that someone has taken to get to that specific point, the sacrifices that they've made. For example, if you see someone graduating, like you only see them graduating, you see them walking to this on the stage, qualification, and it's like you don't see the sleepless nights, you don't see the sacrifices, you don't see the depression, you don't see all of those things. So I think comparison, if you ever find yourself comparing your life to somebody else's, or being envious or having jealousy, babe, like you have no idea what that person has gone through, or their prayers, or the amounts of time they spent getting to that point. And I think it's such a jealousy, such a lazy like feeling to have, because you seeing someone's outcome and you're jealous of the final product, whereas you don't know everything that has happened before that. So I think luckily for me, comparison is not something that I've struggled with, but I can definitely see where it comes from, because you go to high school, you go to varsity, and you all going to the same classes, you're writing the same exams, and then when you come out, everyone's life goes in different directions. And if yours doesn't go in the direction that you wanted to go, that you thought it would go in, and you see other people sort of like living your dream, I can understand how that can like sting. But it is true when they say comparison is the thief of joy. Do not do it. And then on the flip side of life after varsity, I definitely will say having a degree is great, man. It gives you a sense of like accomplishments, a sense of like, damn, I did this very hard thing that I thought was going to be impossible at times. I did this thing that a lot of people don't get to that final stage. And so if you have graduated with any degree, any certificates, any diploma, be very proud of yourself, because varsity is so hard. And I'm so grateful that I've done it. And I think like just sitting and thinking of like life, like unemployment sucks, and it's either you can sit and mope around and cry about it, which is very valid. It's like a horrible experience, but also it's also a learning experience. And I'm not gonna lie, like after I've changed my mindset and I've like shifted my mindset, I've realized it's not the worst thing in the world that can happen. First of all, the amount of free time you have when you're unemployed is incredible. And this is free time I didn't have in my undergrad. This is free time that I've used to get close to God. This is free time that I've used to like work on myself mentally, physically. This is free time that I've used to like do shadow work, to like really think deep and like go through my traumas and go through my, mental health things. This is free time that I've used to hang out with my family. Like the amount of free time I have is incredible, and I'm so grateful for that. And had I gone into work, especially in the being a candidate's attorney in the legal field, I probably would have zero time, because that's a very, very demanding job. Another thing that I wouldn't have been able to do if I probably was employed straight out of varsity was like things like this, like content creation, like starting a YouTube channel is probably something I wouldn't have had the time to do, or I wouldn't have thought to do. Just like exploring life, exploring things outside of just going to school and then going to work and then like living, a very normal life. And another thing, I think it's given me an opportunity to trust God and his timing, and for him to almost like test my patience and just to like give it all to God. Because I think I've gotten to the point where I've applied everywhere, I've tried everything and anything, and it's gotten to the point where I can no longer like get what I need to get with my own works, for example. So anything that comes, I know is going to come by the grace of God, by the might of God, by God's blessings, and that I'm willing to wait for. That I'm definitely willing to wait for. And yeah, I've in this season of unemployment, I've learned to truly trust God. And just a few verses that have helped me like in this journey, in this season of drought, in the season of unemployment, in the season of uncertainty. Also uncertainty is like I've let go of like needing and wanting to know where I'm going, how I'm gonna get there, who's gonna be there. Yeah, so first of all, what is this? Ecclesiastes 3. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. There's a purpose for everything that you go through. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And I think that has taught me, first of all, there's a purpose for every season, and every season is very intentional. God is very, very intentional about the things that he puts us through, about the lessons that we need to learn. It's all for our good. God works for the good of those who loves him. Remember that. When you feel as if things are not going your way, or you feel as if like life is not lifing. Life is lifing, but it's lifing in a bad way and not in a good way. And another thing that I realized, or another thing that I'm hoping God for and I'm praying for and I'm having faith for, is that he's gonna come through for me in this area of my life. Like he said, he will not leave me, he will provide for me. He said I shouldn't worry about the food I'm going to eat or the clothes that I'm going to wear. He told me that he is my provider, and God is not a man that he should lie. And if there's one thing I'm not going to do, as I said, like, South Africa is the highest freaking unemployment rates in the world. And I think the worst thing you can do is try and limit God. Like, put God, limit him to the things of this world. For example, if you're like, oh damn, South Africa is the highest unemployment rates, of course I'm not going to get a job. No, babes. God is not limited by the things of this world. Like, those things don't apply to God. He's literally God. He made the world, he made the universe, he made all the stars, he made the sun, he made this land. So I think another thing is, like, personally, I don't care about South Africa having the highest unemployment rate. I don't care about the corruption. I don't care about the fact that you need to have connections. I don't care. God is going to make it happen for me when it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen. He's going to put the people that he needs to put to help me. He's going to put me in the places that I need to be put, because he is God. And it's not going to be by my own works, clearly, because I've tried everything that I could try. I've done it all. I've applied everywhere. I've exhausted my options, and now it's time for him to show up and show out. And also, I've been hesitant in doing a video like this, or doing this, because I always thought, like, yeah, when God gets me that great job, like, then I'll come and say, yes, this is my testimony. I was hoping and I was praying and I had faith. And it's like, what better way to show him my faith when I'm like, when I'm in this dry season, and I'm like, God, I know this season is not going to be dry forever, and I trust you to do it. I have faith. I don't have a doubt in my mind that he's going to put me in the places that I'm meant to be, that he's going to give me the financial independence that I so long for, that he's not going to forsake me. He told me he's not going to forsake me. He told me that I should not worry about tomorrow. He told me that he will provide for me. He told me that he loves me. And again, the Bible says that God is not a man that he shall lie. So if you were looking for a sign, if you were down and out, if anything, this is your sign. This is your reminder that God is good all the time. Jesus is good all the time, and everything is going to work. Even if it doesn't look like it, everything is going to work out just as it should. And yeah, so life after varsity is tricky. It's very tricky. It's weird, it's hard, but it's an experience, you know. The Lulu babes, we're gonna have faith that life is gonna work out, and I hope you can share your journey in the comments if you've struggled with this, if you've struggled with unemployment, struggled with not knowing where you're gonna go, how you're gonna get there. If you have your own testimony of how God opened doors for you, please share, babes, because I need it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was a safe space for you. I hope you learned something. I hope you can grow. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.